All right, now this forecast, the pressure's on, Chris Franklin.
More pressure on the crews of trying to figure out what's going, because it's not, as you heard Joey Lacoste say, it's not just as easy as, oh, we'll just do it tomorrow at another time. It's a whole lot of strategic planning, and there is a lot riding on our Saturday. And you know, if the Saturday forecast is only calling for light kind of nuisance rain, then, you know, might not be fun, but you ride. But we're looking at not really severe, but downpours that could lead to flooding. And that's more of a danger for folks to be out and about and trying to drive through. So we'll take a closer look. And again, we will know more, obviously, as we get closer to Saturday itself. Started out today chilly, 30s and 40s, a little bit of patchy frost, even a light freeze in Macomb. 71, though, was our high today. So we warmed up pretty quickly during the afternoon hours. That's thanks to kind of an onshore wind. Now, overnight tonight, we will see another cold front move through. Nothing very dramatic, but highs staying in the lower 60s during the day tomorrow. As I've said, these high, thin cirrus clouds usually make for really pretty sunrises and sunsets, and a pretty sunset is setting up at the moment. 68 degrees, so still kind of mild outside, although humidity didn't exactly skyrocket. Dew points yesterday 30s, today more 40s because of that west-southwesterly wind at 10 miles an hour. In the 60s on both sides of the lake, still holding in the lower 70s out over Baton Rouge, and as I said, the dew points, the moisture was a little bit higher than it was yesterday, but certainly nothing dramatic. High cloudiness will still be with us, but that will start clearing out overnight tonight. And so during the day on Wednesday, more of that bright sunshine throughout much of the day, but likely increasing clouds by Thursday or Wednesday night and into Thursday. So here's the upper trough, very weak upper system that is going to push through our frontal system. That moves in tomorrow. And as I've said, just kind of keeps a status quo, very pleasant weather for the rest of the week. Then we're going to be focused on that developing big upper level low that will then develop rainfall over Texas and start moving our way. So that will make this forecast tricky even up to Thursday and Friday right before the parades start, because this is going to be kind of a developing system. This won't be necessarily a line of storms that we watch moving in. It will kind of form just off to our west and then within 24 hours already moving over much of South Louisiana. And this system, because of the way it will kind of elongate and move over us, will likely keep cloudiness around and some light showers into Sunday and Monday before exiting off the East Coast. So not going to clear out very quickly. We'll still have some lingering clouds and light rainfall Sunday and Monday, but the heaviest of the rains are still expected to be on Saturday. So let's take us through both of our computer models. Here is the GFS. Saturday morning dry, but a stiff onshore wind will likely start warming things up pretty quickly. Now the GFS has kind of slowed down a little bit, and by noon we are still relatively dry, with most of our rainfall continuing to increase throughout the mid and late afternoon hours, so 3, 4, 5 o'clock, and then getting heavier during the later afternoon evening hours, 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night, continuing past midnight, and then likely wrapping up early on Sunday. Here's the Euro. Again, a little bit slower than even the GFS. So most of our morning is dry right up through the noon hour, at least based on the latest Euro. All of the heavy rainfall still past Lafayette. Now, if that was the case, then maybe some of our Saturday parades could start a little bit earlier and hopefully wrap up before 5 and 6 o'clock when some of these heavier rains start moving in. And again, as we've seen just since yesterday, while the models are still calling for kind of a late afternoon evening event of rainfall on Saturday, the timing has changed and will likely continue to change as we get closer. What are some of the rainfall totals looking like? Well, based on the GFS, which has been going a little bit higher, maybe 1+ inches of rainfall, which is actually a bit of a decrease in what the models were calling for yesterday, and the Euro was even lower than that. So some soaking rain certainly possible. I think the flooding threat will be more isolated in nature, but we could see some substantial totals once this event is completely done. And again, some of those heavier downpours with the ground saturated after our heavy rains last week could lead to some quick flooding. So something we'll be watching very closely. And as mentioned, Saturday we will have a level 2 threat for more scattered street flooding than more of just the isolated or, you know, here and there type events. It may be a little bit more widespread with the heavier totals and the greater coverage that we're expecting for Saturday. So things could still change, but still looking at a fairly wet Saturday. All of the rest of this week very pleasant, including Friday night. Sunday parades look fine, maybe mostly cloudy with a few light showers here and there, then clearing out by next Tuesday.
And a couple more guys